Hello and welcome. Today we are going to do bubble sort. I hope I can be able to write the bubble sort algorithm in Python in less than 10 minutes. So to just recap what bubble sort is an algorithm that sorts an array of numbers. For example, this one that I've created here, and it sorts them in ascending or descending order. For example, if it is in ascending order, it swaps the values, adjacent values, so that they are all in an order where the previous value should be less than the preceding value. So it uses the swap mechanism, comparing the value that you're on with the previous one, and then swaps them basing on whether one is greater than the other or not. So for example, that algorithm will traverse through this array here, and when it reaches the value that is greater than the other, for example here where we have 343 and 4, it swaps the value 4 with 343, so that the position where you have 4 there will be 343, and the position where there is 343 you have 4. So that is what the algorithm is all about. It swaps two numbers, traverses the whole array, and swaps them basing on whether one is greater than the other. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to begin by defining my function. I'm going to define bubble sort as my function. Sorry, bubble sort. It takes an array. I'm just going to have this as a number array. Then I'm going to write a while loop because I want to be moving, looping through this array every time. So I'm going to write a while loop while checking. So there is be a while stop. Let me create a variable here called stop. While stop, stop should be for true or false. So while true, I mean. So while true, then I want the while loop should stop when everything is sorted. But if it is not sorted, we should traverse this and try to swap the value. So for an index in range, for an index in range 1 to the length of numbers array, what am I going to do? I'm going to say if numbers array, so the previous index, so if the value in the previous index, that is index minus 1, is greater than the value in the current index that you are in, then we are going to have a temporary storage for the number in the index, in the previous index. Then we swap. So the previous index will take the current index. So the previous index, the value in the previous index should be the value in the current index. Then the value in the current index should be the temporary value that we stored. So that is if the value in the previous index is greater than the value in the current index. For example, this part here, if 343 is greater than this, then we first store this in a temporary variable. Then we put this value here. Then after that, we get the value in the temporary variable and we put it in that index. So that is what this does. Then else, if it is not, we continue. So we loop, we go to another index. Yeah, so for one iteration of this, when you traverse the whole of it, this 4 will be here, but remember 54 is still greater than 4. You have again to go through the while loop until it stops, but we need to define what the stopping condition is. So outside here, I'm going to have stop will be equal to, I'm going to create a function which returns true or false, which will tell us whether we are to stop or not. So check if everything is not sorted. So if it is not sorted, it will return true, then we have to continue to loop again in the while loop. But if everything is sorted, it will return false. So I will pass in that numbers array there. Then if everything is sorted, we move out of the loop, and if everything is sorted here, this function should return false, and stop will be false, and then while false, we are out of the loop, and we return the sorted numbers, that is the numbers array. So what is check if everything is sorted? It should be a function. I'm going to define it here. Define check if everything is sorted. It also takes the number array, numbers array, and we will write still a loop that looks like this, but it will be checking if it is sorted. So for index in range len this, it is the same thing. For index in that, if the same thing here, if we find an instance where the index array before is greater than the array now, then we just return that everything is not sorted. Yes, true, everything is not sorted. Else we continue. Yeah, so if everything is okay, that means we have not hit the return true here, then we return false. So I'm going to say here return false. Yeah, this, I think this should work. Let me run this. Then we call bubble sort, and we try with this. It has sorted this. If we try it again with another array, let's try 23, 16, 17, 90, 65, 78, 109. Yeah, it's sorted. So with this code, with this algorithm, there is with this code, you don't need to specify the number of times the while loop will go through, because there is a stopping condition. Yeah, so you can have as big list as you want, but it will still sort it. So this is how you can implement bubble sort in Python. If you've learned something, or you've enjoyed this code, give a like, and please subscribe. Subscribing is free. Till next time, thank you and peace.